Khaled Khaled is the 12th studio album from DJ, record executive, mogul, social media guy, DJ Khaled. For this one, I'm going to cut just straight to the bullshit. It's bad. It's a bad album for so many reasons. At this point, we know what the formula is for a DJ Khaled album. You slap together some of the biggest names in hip-hop and R&B, those who are popping off at the time of its release, and hope that a couple of the singles do numbers. We know that 99% of DJ Khaled's entire career is commercially focused, and I'm not going to comment on that right now, but it's worked 11 times before, so of course, why would he stop doing it? Putting people like Lil Wayne and Chance the Rapper and Quavo and Justin Bieber on the same songs has garnered him #1 singles. His role is the middleman, the guy making the calls, he's the glue, putting all these people together, and I understand that in itself can take up quite a lot of work. But on this new album, aside from the music, even that aspect of what's gone into this project is lackluster. Some of the choices and combinations of artists on certain songs are either nonsensical or just a case of having too many cooks in the kitchen. Combine that with some butchering of classic samples, which seems to be a theme of this album, and you get a car crash of an album. The opening song, Thankful, has a couple major issues with it, the most noticeable for me being just how horribly mixed the whole thing is. There's nothing dynamic or full about the instrumental. There's no depth to it. It's just a wall of noise. Secondly, the Heart of the City sample is just a shameless attempt at capitalizing on the familiarity of the classic Kanye West beat. Lil Wayne's feature is brief and super phoned in. In fact, the only thing that I enjoy about this song is the Jeremiah feature. And even that has some shortcomings. The chorus is repeated way too many times. This song had no business being nearly 6 minutes long. That mixing and volume problem isn't just unique to this song. It crops up time and time again on this project. Far too much of this album has vocals that are just buried under a mountain of overproduced, overblown noise. One of the worst offenders, in fact, I think it's the worst offender on this album, is the song I Did It. Just looking at the song on paper, you're trying to stuff Megan Thee Stallion and Lil Baby and Post Malone all on the same. These are three of the biggest artists going right now. Stuffing them all onto a song that's under 3 minutes. The most egregious thing about this song, however, is the horrible trash use of the Layla sample. Literally nothing interesting is done to reinterpret or reinvent or flip this sample in some original way. Post Malone's I Did It hook is generic as hell. Megan Thee Stallion and DaBaby clearly phone in their verses. Lil Baby, on this other hand, did his absolute best to try and claw this song away from the jaws of defeat, and he so nearly did it. He switches up his flow at least 3 or 4 times on a feature that's about 30 or 40 seconds. He's got interesting bars. He's the only redeeming factor about this particular song. Big Paper with Cardi B was apparently the last song to be finished on this album, and that's easy to hear. It sounds like her verse was literally written a couple of hours before this album dropped. It's a non-beat, which is surprising because Tay Keith is one of the most exciting hip-hop producers working today, and Cardi is the most offbeat I've ever heard her. It sounds horrible. The hook is annoying. That's the only word I can use to describe it. It's annoying, and the whole song is just dedicated to Cardi B just flexing her commercial achievements, which is nothing new in rap, of course. But the way she does it with some of these bars makes her come across genuinely unlikable. I've usually been pretty hot and cold with Cardi B up to this point, but for me, this is one of the weakest features or even just verses in general that I've ever heard from her. This album, like all of DJ Khaled's albums, is just such a cynical approach to making music. It just works on the assumption that it will be successful because there are a million names on it. But unfortunately, the world we're living in, that's true. We live in the streaming era where names and numbers speak. That's why this is DJ Khaled's 12th album. It's worked so many times. It's a guaranteed cash cow for him. The only genuinely good moment on this album is the song that DJ Khaled is the least involved in, and that's the song Grease with Drake that dropped last year. It's produced by OZ, who's been on a pretty hot streak for the past 2 or 3 years or so, and Drake is as charismatic and fun and catchy as he usually is. And that's all because this is not a DJ Khaled song. This is a Drake song that DJ Khaled happened to slap his name on. That's the small glimpse of quality here, because it's a song. It's an actual song. It's something that makes sense, unlike some of the other songs on here, particularly We Go Crazy with Migos and Her. Like, genuinely, who asked for Migos and Her on a sanitized, generic reggae beat? Who asked for that? Who asked for DJ Khaled ad-libbing OnlyFans? Her's voice is as strong as ever, as it usually is, but this song proves to me that I think we have moved past the point for the need for Migos to exist as a trio. They 100% need to, especially Offset in my opinion, they need to focus on their individual respective careers. Offset has the most potential. I think he is the best writer out of the three. Takeoff is, I think, the most distinctive. He has the most distinctive voice. And Quavo is stuck in 2016. Body in Motion with Bryson Tiller and Lil Baby and Roddy Ricch is admittedly one of the better tracks on here. The beat is decent, it's consistently moody, and it feels like the entire song has a theme, like it is a genuine song. Unlike so many of the other tracks on here, it feels like they started out with an idea and they built upon it rather than just slapping random elements together. Roddy Ricch is always going to be a guaranteed strong feature. Lil Baby, once again, like he is on other features on this album, is the MVP of the song. And even Bryson Tiller sounds like he's putting his all. He's putting 110% effort into this song. Unfortunately, the most disappointing moment on this album, for me personally at least, is the song I was looking forward to the most. Sorry Not Sorry teams together Jay-Z and Nas on the same song. I do enjoy the chorus. The beat is pretty good, and Beyonce's vocal harmonies towards the end are, as usual, angelic. But it's the main draw of this entire song that falls the shortest. Jay-Z and Nas are painfully below average. They sound like they don't even want to be there. Nas drops bars like, I sliced the green like a lawnmower. This is Nas. This is one of the best rappers of all time. The whole thing is just devoid of energy. It's like Jay-Z and Nas ruffled around the backs of their sofas and pulled their verses from there. Like I said, these are two of the best, most well-respected rappers of all time, and they just sound like they don't care. Towards the end of the album, we get the song Just Be with Justin Timberlake. All I'll say about this song is that I never want to hear this song ever again until the day I die. The album closes out with Where You Come From with a whole cohort of Jamaican dancehall legends. Unlike Jay-Z and Nas, these legends of their respective genres don't phone it in for a second, especially Buju Banton. I do quite enjoy how dark and simple the instrumental is for these guys to do their thing over, but I think it's a bit of a strange choice to close this album out with. But then again, I can't imagine that DJ Khaled is too concerned with album sequencing and what order these songs are placed in. Khaled Khaled is exactly what you expect from a DJ Khaled album. It's the biggest artist in the world in a giant hodgepodge, hoping that something works. It's purely a commercial, I don't care what DJ Khaled says, it's a purely commercial, very cynical approach to making an album, but he's the master at doing it like this, so it's just something that we're going to have to live with. Those are my thoughts on this new album. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Make sure to like, subscribe, and dong the bell, and I shall see you next time.